So this is an interesting feat. TJ Hawkinson claims on his touchdown, which was overturned and considered not a touchdown, that all the referees on the field confirmed it was a touchdown. They all told him it was a touchdown, but the NFL, New York as they call it, called in and overturned the call. So every referee on the field said, yup, touchdown, he called it, whatever, perfect. They told him it's a touchdown. Then New York calls in late and says, no, not a touchdown. Which, let's just listen up to what he has to say and kind of go on from there.
Here, I know that you were talking about your touchdown that was overturned, but even the look on your face when you were watching the replay, just how incredulous it was even watching it secondhand. What are your feelings on that?
I mean, there's nothing to overturn it. I was out there. I felt it. Hands under the ball, snag it, and I don't understand. I don't obviously understand the catch rule at this point. Jay had one like the exact same thing last year in the corner of the end zone. So they got to figure it out. It's New York can't call in and say that it's not a catch when every other ref out there says it is. That's all it is to it. That's all there is to it. We're giving us an op at the end, but. It's just crazy. It's this whole thing. You can't have somebody call in that's not at the game and with apparently a different view than everybody else has here.
All right, so here's what I'll say, right? And this is the play we're talking about. I'll play in the background here so we can kind of get a general gist. But I will say with New York calling in and giving their 2 cents, New York has 1,000 different cameras that they're looking at, right? They're looking at 1,000 different cameras, every angle possible. They could see stuff that referees simply cannot see. And the reason why is because they are in a booth or in a little studio and they're able to do that, right? Referees are on the field. They can only see what their eyes can see from the said vantage point that they're in. Yes, they can go to a little booth review. They can go under the hood and, look at it and really replay it and slow it down. But they're not going to get as much, resources or ability to review it as New York would. So many times throughout history of football, referees have made crucial mistakes. Whether they do it on purpose or not, that's left to the imagination of the viewer. But when it comes to them seeing things, not seeing things, we have cried, complained, yelled about this throughout the whole entire, history of football. How did the referee miss that call? How did the referee not see it? Think of the Saints versus Rams NFC Championship game. Coleman, when he went ahead and got that pass interference call at the very end of the game. They don't call that PI call. None of the referees call it. Now, again, you could say that's fixed, right? But if in that situation, New York called in and said, hey, nah, that's a pass interference call. You got to call it. Then that would have completely changed the game and the Super Bowl, right? Where the referees didn't call it. And again, it's a interesting feat because you pay your referees. I'm looking at it from the other side here. You do pay your referees to do their job and do their job well. Obviously, you don't have full-time referees. You have part-time referees at this point, but you pay them to do their job, and it's like paying managers to do a job, and then the boss just comes in and says, all right, whatever the manager said, fluff it. We're going to go my way. I don't know. Again, like I said, I see it from both sides because the one side's like, hey, the referee's always messed up. This is a good chance to actually get real football and not have bullcrap. And the other side is, well, you pay your referees to do their job. There's a certain degree where you have to trust them and believe that they called it correctly and let them call the game the way they are calling it. Because if not, then you're really, what's the point of referees? Get rid of them, Now, again, New York, as he says right there, he wasn't there. New York's not there. But New York does get really good camera angles, better than the referees do. who just get to see it from their eyes, right? When a player turns, like right here, if the referee's in front of him, he can't see where the football is. He can't. Now, obviously, another referee could, right? But I don't know. Again, like I said, this is an interesting concept because, like, not even looking at the actual rule and like how the play went, just the idea that New York could call in, it's a different concept. Now, this is not new though. They could always do this. They just don't do it. But they could always do this if they think the referee really messed up. Now, looking at the play, let's break it down real fast. I think we all could agree that nobody knows what a catch is and what a catch isn't. But this, obviously, you hit the ground, okay? Do you survive the ground is the question. The ball does move here, but it never touches the ground. And he's able to hold that ball and stay in bounds, which is a catch. And watching this live, I thought this was a catch. The big thing is right here. When he hits the ground right here, if the ball moves in any way because of the ground, that he's not controlling it, obviously. He doesn't have it under control then. If it's moving, it's not a catch. Because you have to survive the ground. That's the biggest thing right here. It can touch the ground, but it can't move. Now, once he moves over here, right, once he does this little thing right here, the ball can move at this point as long as he captures it again before going out of bounds. So, again, hitting the ground here, it cannot move. It has to be under control. Once he goes like this can move right here because it's not touching the ground and because he's still in bounds. He can still catch this and move. It's just this first part cannot move. That cannot move right there. And it doesn't look like it moved. It doesn't look like it moved. And if the referees are calling it on the field, as all the referees are saying, hey, it's a touchdown, I feel like with this concept, you let the play stand. You know, you let the play stand at the end of the day. But New York called in, and obviously that's where we're sitting now with all these problems and issues. Is New York called in, and obviously not the most fun situation happened. So, with that being said, at the end of the day, I know there will be also people who say, like, hey, this wouldn't have changed anything, right? At the end of the day, the game would have still been the same concept. Eagles would have won. Because at this point right here, they were down by, 10 points? So, being down by 2 scores, even if you get a touchdown here, it's still a little bit the same situation. Now, there would have been more time on the clock, so they could have given up maybe a couple first downs at least. And also, if they got a touchdown here, they could have held the Eagles to a field goal and still had a chance to actually win the game. Again, but you never know. I mean, like, that's a woulda, coulda, shoulda. There's a million different scenarios if that thing changes, right? It is what it is. Tell me down below your thoughts, opinions, guys. See you guys next one.